Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
Get the dance going. That's so lame. Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Mark and Stevie back with you. Tonight, guys, we're going to stick with our theme. And it's not our theme. This is your theme. This shit keeps coming up in the news. And you just can't fake this stuff. I mean, you could, but
okay.
It's not. Yeah, you know. It is what it is. You guys probably heard of this story. Let's pull up the news article. You know we're not making this shit up. This is real. Here we go, right now.
I mean, we're not. We're just reporting on it.
We got a July 2nd story of something that happened on June 5th. A disc-shaped craft hovers over Colorado concert venue. Employees say it knew it was being watched. I have questions, but we're gonna let's read the article. And then we'll get to the questions because I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one. A dozen employees said they watched a large disc-shaped craft hover above a Colorado concert venue and then vanish. I'm not laughing because of what they're saying. I'm laughing because the shit just keeps happening. What's even crazier is that as soon as we all started noticing it and stopped what we were doing to pay attention to it, the craft tipped at an angle and slowly started moving belly first to the east. That's interesting. We will come back to that. Then it started fading away until it was invisible. It didn't shoot off into the distance. It simply dissolved into the ether. We all watched it vanish. The silent hovering object was long, about the size of a 3-story office building with 3 levels of windows and lights, according to the National UFO Reporting Center. And here we have an image taken from the aliens in their craft, scratching their heads, probably watching a presidential rally or something. One of our coworkers suddenly said to us, "Hey, what is that over there? It looks like a spaceship." We all turned to look in the direction he was pointing, and sure enough, there was a UFO hovering about half a mile to a mile north of Red Rocks. They all turned their attention to the strange object in the sky, and it suddenly faded into nothing as soon as it knew it was being watched. That's when it simply dissolved into the ether. A dozen of us saw it. We all kept asking each other, "Are you seeing this too?" It was a resounding yes from everyone in the group. So approximately 10, 12-ish people were there allegedly witnessing this thing. This was not a plane. It was not a satellite, a drone, anything like that. There was no mistaking what this was. Well, if you're calling it a UFO, then there is mistaking what it was because you don't know what it is, right? The way it appeared to simply dissolve into the ether is similar to a potential alien encounter reported last April in Las Vegas when beings seemingly vanished. And here we see a picture from that Las Vegas incident that happened in April. This is when that supposed meteor came shooting across the sky over a bunch of states. It's on police body cam in Nevada and Las Vegas. And these people at this house called the police, 911. They said there was some type of craft. It looked like it was being cloaked in their backyard. There were some creatures that they thought, they believed was alien, kind of cloaked. One was hanging out on their tractor. The other one walked around doing something. It saw them. They even mentioned for a moment when they looked out, everything was kind of blurry around the craft and these beings. Just some weird-ish going on there. Scott Roeder, a veteran crime scene reconstruction analyst, broke down the Las Vegas witness's video and outlined 2 smoky filters, blah, blah. We already saw all this, but he did theorize that the beings used some sort of cloaking mechanism to shield themselves from the curious family. Now, we're not rehashing this story. There's the alleged alien right there in the with the arrow.
I really like how half of this article is literally the same article from last time.
Yeah, they gotta hold on to something. So we will skip some of that. There's the video. If you guys didn't catch it before, here's kind of the this is the video this guy put together, kind of outlining where these alleged beings are. And we're not going to get back into this right now, but once again, focus on the one in the top right here. Had he not outlined the head and not outlined the eyes so that you can't mistake it for anything other than these aliens you've seen in movies and shit, then you might be able to get a better idea. But this is just, we don't need to draw an outline. So let's go down. That's pretty much it on that. Most of the rest of this article is about that Las Vegas incident. So we're not going into that. So yeah, this happened in Colorado, June 5th, over concert venue, Red Rock. There's some interesting things here. We have to point out. Number one, UFO. Okay, guys, that doesn't mean alien, just unidentified object. That's all it is. I'm not saying it's not alien. Who the hell knows, right? But one of the things they mention here is that they believed that this thing started to go away once it realized they were watching it, right? So, first thing you think is, well, how the hell would you know, right? Because if you didn't see it before, maybe from a little hidey spot where it couldn't see you, then how would you know this thing wasn't already getting ready to dissolve into the ether? Okay,
Right,
it's just
right.
things to think about. I'm not making fun of it. But this line right here, then it started fading away until it was invisible. It didn't shoot off in the distance. It simply dissolved into the ether. We all watched it vanish. I can't dismiss that, at least that part. Here's why. Because what I saw by my home did the exact goddamn same thing. However, it was at night, so all you could see was a bright white light. But what this thing did was impossible to our current understanding. And if we're to believe that this could be something otherworldly, then what I saw did things that were impossible according to what 99% of us know about, the 1% being those people that would probably be in the know, in the government, military, all that shit, third-party companies. But the one the light I saw, I don't know what it was, but it did the same fucking thing. Once the high speed stopped, once this thing came to a dead stop 2 separate times from a high speed, the bright white light never changed. It always stayed the same intensity no matter where in the sky this thing was. Once it came to its final stop in 5 seconds, it slowly just faded away over about 5 seconds from bright white to light orange, dark orange, and whoop, gone, right? They're describing the same thing. And what I saw, and these aren't the only legit stories that are out there where people have seen this type of shit. Now, this one involves an alleged craft, but we moved down, 3-story office building. We've all heard different sizes on these things that people are seeing. And, I just want to point out, if you don't know what it is you're looking at, which they don't, that's why it's a UFO, it's really hard to judge the size. You've never seen this thing before. It could be a mile away and look like it's the size of a 3-story building. It could be 10 miles away and appear to be the size of a 3-story building. If it's 10 miles away, then that means it's going to be much larger. But from your vantage point, it looks like a 3-story building size, right? Now, that's only because you don't know what it is. So it's very hard to determine exactly how far away it is. Of course, they're going to go with their best judgment, and I'm fine with that because any of us would. What is interesting is they were able to discern there were 3 levels of windows and lights, not necessarily the lights, but the windows. So I would love to talk to one of these people and get a more in-depth explanation of, how did you come to the determination that you were seeing windows, right? Not some type of panels on these things.
Right.
I'd like to know. Let's see. The other part here, right here, something fading in nothing. No, down a tad bit more. Wow, where is it? So we have the part, let's see, maybe it's in the beginning where they said this thing turned kind of on its belly. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
right
more
here.
towards the beginning. Yeah.
Right here. What's even crazier is that as soon as we all started noticing it and stopped what we were doing to pay attention to it, the craft tipped at an angle, boop, and slowly started moving belly first to the east. Okay, this is interesting. And I'm going to
Contradicts
tell you
the
why. What?
contradicts the other half of the fucking article.
It does? How?
Because they said that it didn't move, it just faded into the ether, but yet this one, like this part says that
Mm,
it went belly up and moved to the east, but literally the other
well,
paragraph says that it
so
didn't move and they watched it just vanish.
yeah, it does say slowly started moving belly first. They do not say that it, once it slowly started moving belly first, that it just went whoop, like you could discern that it was definitely just zoop up to a high speed. They're saying it tipped up
Hmm.
belly first, it slowly started moving, and then it just kind of faded away. It didn't appear that it shot off. So I get that. I also get what they're saying. There's some movement, moving belly first to the east. So, that brings up a good question, I guess, is we don't know if maybe did it come to a stop again and then it just kind of vanished, right? Um, like the light I saw, it wasn't moving when it disappeared, but it was
Right.
moving most of the time prior to that. So I would say, well, it wasn't moving at all. It just disappeared. And then if I were telling the story, well, I might do a better job, but I would say it was moving prior, but it came to a dead stop. I'd be telling
That's
you
fair.
the full exact timeline of what happened, right?
Right, because
But
that helps a
yeah,
lot.
but this belly first thing, it kind of tipped to an angle and moved belly first. Where have we heard this before? Bob Lazar. He's one of the originals that came out with his story that he allegedly worked at S4, which is supposedly a secret facility at Papoose Lake. Papoose Lake, we know, is catty corner
Papoose.
to Area 51 on the Papoose mountain range. Um,
It's such a
nobody's,
wonderful word. Papoose.
yeah, nobody's ever been really able to verify anything there, of course, but he claimed the exact same thing. He said the way these craft work is in the bottom level of them, and he did say they had 3 stories to them. Now, the craft he described were much smaller than what these people allegedly
A
saw, right?
three-story office building.
But
Yes.
yeah, but he said there was 3 levels. He wasn't allowed to go up to the top level. He was in the middle level. However, he could see the bottom level because it was like a crate type floors, like
Hmm.
slats, and you could move them and go in there. It was weird, but you could see underneath. And he said that down there were 3 gravity emitters or gravity amplifiers. Okay, and the
Yeah.
way they worked was one of them, when you're like in the atmosphere, you could use 1 or 2 to kind of move the craft around, and you could move them all around to do whatever you need to do. The other one, when you're ready to go, the thing would turn up on its belly. The other one would point to a point in space, let's say, right to your destination ish,
Hmm.
and it would distort the gravity, it'd do something, and whoop, off you go, and you're gone. It looks like you just disappear out of thin air, but you're just shoo, so fast, right? And these are creating a
Hyperspeed.
field around the craft. Yeah, well, no,
I know.
much different.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
I had to.
yeah. Light speed, Scott A. Same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so here we're hearing again similarities to what's been described for decades and decades and decades now. That's interesting as hell because now you got to really take a look at these 12 people or 12ish people
Hmm.
and interview all of them. I would love to know how much of a history they have looking into or reading about UFO stories, conspiracy theories. Honestly, I don't give a shit about conspiracy theories, but we already know they're being proven true. I want to know what their UFO history is. Have you looked into this stuff a lot? Hey, have you ever heard of Bob Lazar? And see what they say, right?
Hmm.
And kind of get an idea, a scale of where they're at on that level, and have they heard of these things before? And then you get a much better gauge of, you know, could you assign a little more credibility or a little less credibility to any one of these people? But we are talking 12 people. So you know, their employees, right there, you get a little bit more credibility because they're telling you where they work. They're
Mhm.
saying there's about 12 of us. And if they're coming out to the news about this, they are taking a big chance that this company might want to disassociate from them
Yeah.
and not be known as the woo woo concert venue. And, they're taking a risk. The woo woo concert venue. Um, this happens, right? So
Yeah.
they're taking a chance that they could look at losing a job, So I as of now, I believe the story. What they saw, though, who knows? UFO?
Mhm.
Yes. If they definitely saw something, they don't know what it was. Yes, that's a UFO. Guys, you always have to remember UFO means unidentified flying object, or UAP, unidentified anomalous
Aerial.
or aerial phenomena. Right? It's just unidentified. It could
Mhm.
be a
Yeah.
commercial airliner, and it's just looking weird because of the sunset and the way it's moving in
Mhm.
the glimmer of the sun shining off at the reflection, and you might not be able to discern what it is. Well, it's a UFO until you figure out what it is. It's that simple. It doesn't mean alien. However, it could, you know. But we really got to get away from associating alien with the term UFO. It's not what it
Mhm.
means. Um, this is super interesting though because of the size of this thing. From their vantage point, this thing looked to be about the size of a 3-story building. If they're able to discern some type of windows, what appear to be windows, then they may have a much better size scale here
Yeah.
of really what the size was. If you're seeing some things that you can relate to, windows, right? So now they may be able to more accurately discern the size of this, the distance, estimated distance, right? So yeah, interesting story. I mean, concert venue, there's security cameras. Where's that at? Because the first thing I'd be doing is I'd be going to them saying, look, crazy's over there saying UFOs, saying aliens. I saw it. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I
Yeah.
know we got cameras. Let's look at them, see if we caught them.
Mhm.
Don't fire me. Let's just look and see, and you'll see what we saw, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Where's that? Where is that? So that would be interesting. So I don't know. What do you think, Stevie?
I.
Disc shaped craft in Colorado.
Like I've already said, I pointed out like that little discrepancy. I just feel like they're, oh no, it's two different stories to me as to how it actually disappeared, or they're just like forgetting a solid chunk
Well, that
and
first part didn't say it disappeared. That first part just said at
it
one point it
vanished.
turned on its belly and just slowly started moving. It didn't say it disappeared then. So,
Right underneath it
you
didn't
know,
it just say that?
what's that?
Go back to it because I swear the sentence underneath
No.
it. Then it
Um,
started fading away until it was invisible. It didn't shoot off into the distance. It simply dissolved into the ether. But like down farther,
with this sentence, they're simply saying it tipped to an angle and it slowly started moving belly first to the east. That's
yeah.
all they're saying there. Then they
Then
jumped to then
yeah,
it started fading away until it was invisible. It didn't shoot off into the distance, it
I
simply
know.
dissolved. So what I'm getting from that is boom, this thing tips up and it just slowly starts moving. And while it's slowly moving, it just boop, 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 fades away into nothing.
As if you
That's what
scroll
I'm
down a
getting.
little bit more, yeah, that's what I'm getting from that. But if you scroll down just a little bit more, keep going. Hang on.
Mm-hmm. Right here. It suddenly faded into
Faded into
nothing.
nothing. Like I don't know.
That's what they said at the top. So it looks
True.
like it just started slowly
Go
moving
down
and
a
then
little
it
more.
just
Don't make me
vanished.
pull this up on my phone. Just go down a little more.
Simply dissolved into the ether.
This
Dozen of
is
us saw it.
two. Go down a little more.
Again, simply dissolve into the
Go
ether,
down.
and then we get down to the Las Vegas story.
Oh, okay.
So it all adds up.
Okay.
It's
I
consistent, I think.
Yep. I find it also interesting that it adds up like detail wise with some of the things Lazar has said.
Yep.
Um,
That's why I want to
Colorado
know their
is
history
known.
into UFO stories.
Yeah, and Colorado is known for having a lot of sightings.
Well,
And
you have a lot of mountains, and one
yes.
one of the things that's always been a similar factor with UFO sightings. Not every single time, but a lot of times, besides water, mountains,
Yep.
mountains, mountains,
Easy.
mountains,
Easy to
mountains.
hide.
Look at what's happening at Skinwalker Ranch right now.
Hmm.
It's not huge mountains, more like hills, mesas, shit like that. Where I live, we're right by the mountains. Where I grew up and lived most of my life isn't that far away from here, but it wasn't just a few miles away from the mountains. And I never saw anything in my entire life I cannot explain until I moved here.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
tell
like,
me, you know?
I mean, Colorado. I've seen some things out there. I mean, there's a lot of nothing. There's a lot expansive of nothing.
Yep. Perfect place
But
to test new technology.
right, and also
Mm-hmm. We can't
Colorado.
forget.
Maybe it's just because I like lived really close to Manitou Springs, but there was always like this talk and like assumption that Colorado is just not so much spookier, but more like for people who like to, for white girls who have nose rings and like to read you your fucking astrology. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Like
she's
there's
one of those Aquariuses suck. That's what I've heard on Matt Rife. That's from the audience, not him.
So that's just like the vibe that Colorado has, and like Red Rocks Amphitheater has kind of a history of ushering in the paranormal. So no, so like a lot of people who do drugs. They're like acid and mushroom, and it opens your mind to say things that you may not see normally. Opens your mind's eye. So like things happen in Colorado. I mean, like this to me in my heart has a lot of plausibility to it, just because of how it adds up, and the living in Colorado and near the like pretty much in the mountains, because I lived in Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs. So I don't know, in my heart I'm like this I actually truly in my heart like believe that they whatever
Yeah.
it was, I don't know.
Well,
When they say three-story building, like office building, like that could be a range of sizes, because like you could have a very small 3-story office building,
Right.
and you can have a fucking massive 3-story fucking office building.
Yeah.
So size is relevant.
And let's not forget, okay, these are employees. So
Right.
so what you're referring to, a bunch of concert goers, who knows, this could have been a group of friends are all doing some type of drug. These
Yeah.
are employees. So the
Oh,
chances of
yeah.
all 12-ish of them being on something, I think, is slim.
Oh no, I'm
So
not
that's
saying that
good.
they are. I'm just saying
No, I
that
know.
like
I know
just
you're not.
from like yeah, they're employees. There's no way.
Yeah.
Just like I'm just saying that area has a history
Yeah.
of experiences, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I just wish the other half of the article wasn't just a rehash of
Yeah.
Las Vegas one.
Well, they're going to
but,
associate
hey,
it because it happened recently and it's not close, but it's not too far from there. And it was a very big article, a big story. And, who knows? So, yeah, I get you. I don't
I
think
wish they would have just touched on it.
I don't think they should have put as much into, gone as much into the Las Vegas one as they did, but
Yeah.
they did.
I think they should have obviously went more into like, the article that they intended on starting with. But it was almost, I feel like it was almost like a clickbait article, like, hey, here's this, but we're going to give you about it. And then we're
Right.
going to go into an even longer article about something we've already told you about.
Yeah, it's just because they didn't have too much on it. They gotta interview people.
It feels like a clickbait article, and it kind of pisses me off because I wish they would have put a little bit more
right
into that one.
Yep.
But whatever.
Yep. So
I just work here.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
That's the Colorado UFOs at the Red Rock concert venue. Let us know what you think. You might have seen for a minute now or so up on the screen there, obscuredr1@gmail.com. That's our email address. Try using it. If you have a personal story of your own, you've seen a UFO. Maybe you were at this venue and you saw this thing as well. You've seen UFOs, aliens, alien abductions, Bigfoots, the obscure realm. shoot us an email, type story in the subject line, let us know your story. We'll tell it for you on here anonymously if you wish. If you want to be on the show, we can arrange for that. Super easy to do. You know, technologically through the ether. You don't have to be here in studio.
Through the ether.
Yeah, that's that. Like, share.
We can beam you up, Scotty.
Yeah, we will beam you up. Like, share, and subscribe. You will get beamed up. That's a fact. We're out of here. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.